Okay, I think I'm live. I've got to update some stuff though, which is always boring at the start of these, but that's okay. Okay. It's weird that it's not showing. Don't have access to my studio. That is weird. What is up with this? Well, I mean, I am live. Okay. Um, Whatever then. That's fine. Yeah, audio's on too. Cool. All right. So hi everyone. I skipped a week because I've been busy with other projects, like starting up the Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead Lenny. And so now that some of that's done, I'm gonna try and get back into stuff. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be a mod stream, so I should update that right now. I'm instead going to be working on fields and effects. So I was talking to some people about some things that they wanted for fields and effects, and there's currently a few things that are broken related to fields and effects that I would like to help fix. So if I go over to it'll Cataclysm GitHub, and I think it's for shockers. So it's this one right here. And so all of the tests are failing because yeah, so this is failing right here. And so basically this field test is failing, and it's related to someone already did a bunch of legwork on this. Anid, who is one of our most recent, I don't want to say it wrong, collaborators, and has been working on the game for forever, is very diligent about it. Was digging into this and kind of figured out where it was happening, basically. And so I'm going to tonight try and fix it. And so I'll pull up the actual test. And so this is just going to be a C++ stream. It's not going to be very exciting. Well, that's unfair. It might be insightful to some people who want to work on some of the C++ stuff, but there's no cool JSON insight going on here. Not a lot to copy, so, no hard feelings if people don't want to stick around for it. So let's go to field test. I think this is it. Yeah, field test.cpp. And so I'll pin that for now. And so I believe the failure is at line 80, which is up. Yeah, so it's the expiry stuff here. And so it's test field expiry on FD electricity is definitely what's causing this issue. And so this test, or I guess this test helper, is a little bit weird. And so basically what it does is you get the field type, you make 10,000 of the field with I believe a normal or like an infinite existing time, but they'll still decay as normal. And so you get 10,000 of them. Then you call the decay function, which does all of the stuff required to potentially drop a field's intensity as it needs to. And then once you've done that, once you've set up all of those and you've got them kind of initialized, This does some calendar stuff, which I'll talk about in a second, and I believe Anna had spotted was this is where the issue is. But basically, you just have the number that still exists and the number that have decayed, and you run through all 10,000 of those fields. You run decay on them once, and then you sum the number that are alive and the number that are decayed. And then at the end, if something, because you're just wondering about half-life, then it's since you're just wondering about the half-life for them and you just want to do one half-life, it I've just moved my hands. At that point it should be that half them still exist and half them don't out of that 10,000 because you've hit the half-life. And so I guess the first thing I'm curious of is if all of these have the same half-life. Because if they all have 4 seconds, and since the PR that I was talking about, it changes the half-life of lightning to 1 turn from 4. And so if all of the rest of these are 4, then all I need to do is change the hard code to not be hard-coded anymore. And if they're not that, then I have no idea what I'm going to do. And we're going to have to figure it out. So, let me just hide my capture for a second because I'm going to need Visual Studio Code to look at some JSON. That's not right. I'm glad I hid this. All right, and we're back. So, FD, I think is the plan. No, it's got a half-life of 2 minutes. That's not right. 2 minutes. So they don't all have the same half-life. So let's do it again. And okay, no details in the field for it either. Okay, so we can ignore this stuff because it's related to fire, because it's legacy. And it's weird and complicated, apparently. So okay, and so the first thing it does, okay, and so this is kind of what I thought, is that you got to run do decay the first time to configure everything's decay delay. And then from there, just run once. But minus 2 seconds. Yeah, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. This is easy. I think this will work. Yep. And I'm gonna just do the thing here, even though it's just gonna pop it up right in front. So what initialized decay is going to do is this. And then all of this can go away. You can just call initialize decay. And then this test. And so there's probably a better way for me to do this, where I actually fix the fact that this kind of increments in and of itself. But it does work as is, and even like thinking about it, this like the 1 second half-life stuff will be fine too in actual gameplay with the way this works right now. I think it shouldn't be a problem. But the real issue is this test, which does this the first time to initialize everything, and so now it doesn't need to. Just call initialize decay instead, and so it's going to do that initialize step. It's not going to increment the time, and so so we want just do 1 second here. I think that means the calendar hasn't flipped over at all, but I think that's okay. I'm gonna have to compile to find out. And I think when I hit this, it's gonna be slow. Okay, yeah, so I don't want to do this right now. This will be a long compile, and I have other stuff to work on, and so for now, I'm just going to let me just publish this. And I guess since I'm working on other stuff, I'm really lazy. It's bad practice to do this, but it's GitHub's time. So I'm just gonna PR this, and that'll tell me if and so I won't have to compile locally. Maybe this will let me know how it all works out. The curiosity here, I guess, is if I'm breaking anything else. Changes as I have them right now won't actually check the shocker stuff, but actually I may as well just do everything here. I made this file earlier and then didn't. Resolve conflicts later. It's fine. So I'm gonna make a thing for shock. FD shock. I don't want to steal the thunder, no pun intended, on the other PR that's up for shocker stuff, and so I'm going to not, and I'm going to instead I'm just gonna make an example. Okay, it's all FD electricity. So I'm gonna make a test field that's 1 second, and then that will have the same. That'll let me test it without affecting the core game at all, which is a great thing to do just in general. Is to, when you're writing tests or you're making tests, to focus on move them to the test data mod, and that way it's less brittle. Changes to the core game won't mess with things. So it's like, if you want to make sure that a cast iron pot is always weighs a certain amount, or like doesn't fit in a pocket that's too heavy, or because it's too heavy or something, make a copy of it, put it in the test data, and that way if someone changes cast iron pots later because they found an Amazon listing that showed that they were less weight, and people love to do JSON churn, then it's not going to break a whole bunch of tests. And that means it's less of everyone's problem. But yeah, so our FD short half-life exists. I'm going to then go back to field test here, and it just takes strings. That's so good. So I can just do this right here. Boom. And then I will add testing. And I'll push that. And that should check for this 1 second half-life to make sure that my change actually fixes that too. And normally I would compile this, but I'm on stream. I don't want to be a robot for an hour and just sit around doing nothing. And so I'll check that later. But that's hopefully a fix for that stuff in the future. And so the other thing that people wanted, I gotta check the to-do list. Right, was this one? Well, I'm on a roll anyways. So there were some problems with this. I do not know what the problems are. I agreed to fix it without checking anything about it. So let's figure it out. So not a lot of code, but some stuff is, yeah, lots of errors. Okay. Well, let's check. Let's do things in the order that makes the most sense. Okay, so it's filling A style, so that's a real problem. But what's Clang got to say? Because Clang gives the easiest errors to fix. And I will just pull up this PR. Apply different. Let's just put intensity. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is rebase this because it's old enough that it's being mad about the fact that I have an Obsidian configuration. I don't like that. So let's move you up to upstream master. It's a lot of commits. I hope there's not any conflicts. If there's conflicts, this is going to suck. But I don't want to squish mouse work either, so hopefully it just works. Okay, that's all right. Hopefully. How bad? I mean, it's Definitely this one. Which is which? I'm just... No, that's there. Okay, that's the only JSON edition. So we definitely keep this then. And that should pop up in a second that I've resolved that. I should be doing this on a separate branch. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I have to go ahead to fix this. I'm gonna force push. Um, um, it's a big push. It's like 600 commits behind. Anyways, while I'm doing it, while that's happening, I can actually look at what's up. And so... all those are going to disappear. That's okay though, because what I can do is... I don't know if this works at all. So I'm gonna just fix the low-hanging fruit stuff and then go from there. I don't know. I just trying to make sure. Okay, so this is for effects based on intensity level. What's the shape of that? I don't want to rewrite this PR, but just curious. Well, I got the trucker one somewhere here. Truck bills. Oh no, yeah, it is all just arrays. So I shouldn't mess with that. Effects are so weird for this kind of stuff. I feel like we should maybe fix that at some point, but it is not worth it right now. So okay, yeah. So this all actually does make sense. So I just need to actually fix the looks. or the issues. So first off, easiest one. Stop. Okay, creature CPP. And so, my favorite thing about having a style set up. There. What was the issue? There was the issue. And then from there, it's Clang Tidy issues. And so, creature CPP. Oh, I see. Yeah, he's set here. Okay, so all that stuff doesn't run. Is this? Is this? So 1152. Ah, that's not hard to fix. Oh, I don't know what that logic's supposed to be. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Where did it put the message before? Okay, creature. Where's the K message do stuff? So I think I just want a separate. Or no. Then I want else if So if it's just an alert, then and it's not decaying, then it should post the message, which I'm guessing is something to do with this. So the issue though is like our so a bunch of these are not, yeah, and all of these are arrays. Okay. Yeah, so the problem with the way this works right now is that if this doesn't accept both an array and a single value, then every effect in the game needs to be changed to work with this, and that's not okay. And so I'm gonna have to do some load fixes too, I think. And so basically I go um I go minus minus 1 equals the size of the thing. Oh, I see. Yeah, so that does make sense. So if it has a message for it, basically, then at that point we do this message, and otherwise we're gonna fall back and we're gonna just use the first message. Um, because if we should have some message for it, and so the default would be the choice, and then I'll make it so that if you load in a non-array, then it'll just put the first value into the array, or it'll put all the data it does read in as the first entry in the array, and so this will always work. So this is code that works for effect. And then where else was it mad at? So that's the effect stuff, and then creature, I think. Yeah, creature 1591. 1591. So it's on adding an effect. It does. Why was this changed at all though? Comes the question for me. Because it's currently in creature. Oh, it's just didn't delete the last brace. Okay, that's super fixable. It's this one, I think. Oh no, it is this one. Hey, and that'll make that work too, I think. Okay, so that gets rid of the initial message. Um, that just kind of applied generally on add effect. And now now I just need to go over to intensity stuff. I just want to make sure that the set intensity is actually called somewhere. I don't want to see where it's called. I want to make sure that it actually well, it's set in a million places. It's a pile. It's a pile. Um, okay. So maybe I don't want to miss this then. Yeah, I'm just. No, we do set the intensity. So you set the intensity in a bunch of places. So I'm gonna stop thinking about it. I think this works. It'll be very apparent if it doesn't on testing at all. And so that's fine. And so now the only thing I need to do, because that fixes all of the compiling issues, and so the only thing I need to do is make sure that the loading is going to work, and we're not going to need to change 1,000 effects in game. And so to do that, I just need to go to reply messages. And there it is. Okay. So it has an array. Do this stuff. But why? uh, why do you return a bool? Ah, I'm not too worried about it. I'll just keep it as is. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's not worth even thinking about. And then otherwise, and then I'm just going to make a helper above here. It's load reply message helper, and it's just going to take a Oh, it's an array of arrays. Cool. Okay, this is super cool. Uh, so, right. Right. What's the problem there? Okay, nothing's the problem. And so then all of the logic here goes. Where's the apply message box? I hate not being able to copy this because I'd like to. Let's go to declaration. Grab you. And all of this goes in here. What is inner? Inner is the actual thing. And so it is now JA. Okay. And so now all the logic is up here in this little helper function. And so what I can do is and I want to do inner as the array that's passed in, and then just apply messages. And I believe that since that's by reference, I think, I see the best, that I should be able to in place through the helper. And so the reason I'm doing this is because there's two options for the current state of things. So either we have just an array, which would be a single thing, or we have an array of arrays. Though actually, does this work? Let's look at the message. So if it has decay messages, for example, as an array, then you get this inner array. And then, oh, no, and then it does all the reads and stuff. Okay, cool. And so I need to support, so if the array has arrays, does that work? Yeah. I think this works, but JA equals JO dot get array, remember. So we get JA here, and if JA dot has array, at 0, then we do this. Or actually, I should probably say as string at 0. Then we don't do this, and this will be our fault, but this will be our otherwise. This. And so if it has a string there, we know that it's not double nested. There's just going to be a single list of these, and so since there's only a single list, we can just do load apply message help. But instead of being on inner, we just do it on JA itself. Put that into apply messages. So that should work for nested stuff and non-nested stuff, I think. And so I'm gonna need to compile that to test it, but do that later. So yeah. I think I'm done. Let me check the code here one more time, because I'm just gonna assume all of this code is correct also. You know what, actually this is duplicated code. Right, like this is identical, isn't it? I'm gonna just do string compare or diff. I think there's a grab a online diff checking tool, and I'm just going to and so the only difference is the name of the thing and where it's going. And so they can all be generalized. I love doing that. So we'll call this load message help instead. Make that like that, and then all of this gets, well, I won't delete it right now because I'm gonna need to steal stuff. We'll pass in inner and oops, not mean to start compiling, and decay messages. I'm gonna delete all of this there, and so now there, I'll move this up so that it's before all the things that are using it. This isn't necessary. C++ is a smart guy. He could have figured this out on his own. But coders aren't. And so sometimes it's nice to have this stuff before. And I'll put a little comment. Cool. Looks good to me. So that I'm just gonna push this. And I think that's gonna work. Again, I'm gonna compile this. I'm not going to right now, because of words. I'm not gonna compile it right now because of it would make me all choppy and roboty. But that is 2 successful PRs completed for tonight. And yeah, no, nothing of info yet on this one. And so I might have to tidy these up, but I'll remember to post links to both of these PRs in the description of this in case anyone does want to look at the code I worked on tonight. I don't really want to get into anything else. It's already kind of a bland one, doing all C++, but hopefully that was insightful to some people. Seeing me pick through a test failure for this first Half-Life one and try and figure out how to resolve that with the least friction possible, and then also kind of picking through someone else's code and trying to figure out what was up and what was wrong and how to resolve it. So yeah, thank you anyone who tuned in, and next week, ideally, I'll be back with some actual work on Fissure Core, the mod that I'm working on, and so there'll be some JSON and some cool stuff for that. I keep getting sidetracked with infrastructure and things, but I do need to just actually do some JSON at some point and some content for it, and so that'll be coming up soon. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.